to my channel with a changed format and a changed haircut. It's good to see all of you after a long time. I'll try to make sure I upload videos more often now onwards, now that I have a semester break. With me, for those of you who don't know me, I am Anurag and I'm a third year or rather a fourth year student now studying at National Law University, Delhi. I'm sure most of you would have read about the notification released by CLAT Consortium, where they have indicated that now the number of questions would be reduced from 150 to 120. Ab, you don't need to go around on YouTube and watch a lot of videos. I'll make sure that this is the only video that you need to watch about this pattern change. I'll try to address all of the apprehensions that you have about the syllabus change, about the pattern change, because I'm someone who faced this back in 2020 in my time when the first time CLAT Consortium changed the format, the syllabus and everything. But to look at the brighter side, definitely this is going to be more student friendly and student accessible for people who had lesser speed, who had difficulty understanding passages. So it's going to bring them back in the game. ठीक है, तो अभी जिसकी भी स्पीड बहुत कम थी ना, तो प्लीज gear up your game. You're back in the game now. You're not out of the game. You can still prepare right from here and get into the top ranks, because now you'll get to attempt all of the questions that are there because number of questions कम हो गया है. जो भी स्पीड एडवांटेज किसी को होता था 150 में से 140 क्वेश्चंस करने का, आप 110 कर पाते थे, अब वो एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा. एंड फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु आर स्कोरिंग रियली गुड रैंक्स राइट नाउ, आप लोगों को रिलैक्स नहीं करना है, बट यहाँ से अपने गेम को और अपलिफ्ट करना है. अगर आप यहाँ से रिलैक्स हो गए कि हमारे तो 150 में 120 आ रहे थे, 125 आ रहे थे, we'll easily score in 120. How is that a big deal? Don't do this mistake, because I'll tell you, जब हमारे टाइम में 2020 में there are a lot of people who used to score 160 plus in a paper of 200 marks. और जब पैटर्न चेंज हुआ और सिलेबस चेंज हुआ पैराग्राफ बेसिस पे, a lot of us including me fell down to 50, 60, 70 marks out of 150, which was quite surprising for a lot of us. अब वहाँ से बहुत लोगों ने including me did a lot of work from there. We geared up and changed our strategies with respect to the paper, and we got into the top ranks and we got into the college that we are in right now. ठीक है, some of us are in good NLUs or probably NLU Delhi. So we geared up and changed our strategy and we got into the top NLUs. And again, there are some people who were equally good as us who didn't change their strategy, who quite relaxed at that point because of the number of questions reduction at that time, and they're not in good colleges. So definitely you need to gear up your game. Even if you are somebody who used to score less due to the speed, you're back in the game. And if you were somebody who used to score good and you are scoring good, you still need to gear up your game, because the demand of the paper would definitely change as the number of questions have reduced. Now I'll go question by question. A few questions that I aim to address, I'll tell you outright here. So why have they changed the format? What the paper might look like, the sectional division might look like. So I will tell you what my hunch says. Is the paper going to be student friendly? What the difficulty would look like? How important is the reading speed? This is the question that I'm getting the most from my students. And what would be the most important factor in selection now? So these are the 5 questions that will look like, that we'll address in this particular video. So the first question, why have they changed the format, right? So I think न्यूज़ में सब लोगों ने देखा होगा, दिल्ली हाई कोर्ट में केस चल रहा है to have the paper in multilingual format or bilingual format, basically on the lines of JEE and NEET paper, कि अगर वो हिंदी में हो सकता तो why not CLAT? So I think this might be a way to sort of suppress that. We are trying to make the paper more student friendly, we are making it more student accessible, so that people who are coming from Hindi background, they get to have sort of a level playing ground. Definitely not equally good, but yeah, they're trying to make it a level playing ground for those people as well, and I'm sure this will help out with that. And secondly, from my experience as a law student for 3 years, I think they are looking more at having students who know the depth of a particular thing. So earlier, when it was 150 questions, 120 questions, I'm sure most of you would relate with this. You used to rush through passages. But as a law student, it's not about how many readings you can do in 2 hours, but rather how well can you know a reading in 2 hours. Rather than reading 5 readings of, let's say, jurisprudence, it's important to know how well do you know, let's say, one particular reading of mill. how well do you know mill in 2 hours? And to get sort of students that are required in law school, I think they are changing the pattern to less number of questions, but students who have a good accuracy. So this is something that you need to keep in mind now that you're preparing for a changed pattern, changed format of questions. You need to be somebody who is good with understanding the passages, who has a good accuracy and just not the speed. Now looking at what the paper might look like, so I've sort of made a table. I'll try to put it down here. If not, you guys can join my Telegram channel. I'll put the table there as well, or you could personally approach me over here. I'll send the table to you. So I've made a proportional allocation based on the percentage share that each section used to share, and based on that, English would be 24, legal would be 32, current affairs would be 28, logical as good as English 24 questions, and quantitative aptitudes 12 questions. The reason why I think it might look like this is because जब 2020 में उन्होंने change किया था, they gave us percentage allocation. I think they would not differ a lot from that because they want to give, let's say, 10-15% to quant for sure. So वो उस परसेंटेज शेयर से वो ज़्यादा हिलना नहीं पसंद करेंगे. तो आई थिंक द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस वुड बी अराउंड दिस. सो जब तक उनकी तरफ से कोई डिवीजन नहीं आता है, यू कैन स्टार्ट ऑपरेटिंग ऑन दिस वन, और मे बी द मॉक्स दैट यू स्टार्ट गेटिंग फ्रॉम कोचिंग. तो उसके बेसिस पे प्रिपरेशन कर सकते हो. द रीजन वाई आई एम गिविंग यू दिस प्रोपोर्शनल एलोकेशन इज सो दैट वट एवर सेक्शनल यू आर गिविंग is now based on this number of questions. So let's say if you're giving a sectional of English, you give 24 questions ka sectional in 30 minutes and see how well you score and how good you can get your accuracy. I also somewhere have a hunch that this might not be very strict allocation in number of questions, and they might look at something which ELIT did this year. बहुत फ्री फ्लोइंग फॉर्मेट, एक पैसेज आया उस पर 2-3 क्वेश्चन क्वांट के, 3-4 क्वेश्चन लॉजिकल के. दिस माइट एज वेल बी दैट, but they have said that they'll provide support from their side, which means they might release sample papers and a lot of things. So let's wait for it. But बहुत सारे permutation combination possible है about the number of questions that can be there. I think it would mostly be on the lines of what I suggested you earlier, the division 12, 24, 32, 28 and 24. Now on the point whether it's going to be student friendly and whether the difficulty would increase, तो वेरी ऑनेस्टली स्टूडेंट फ्रेंडली होने वाला है. बट एक चीज ध्यान में रखना, बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स होते हैं जो डिटरमाइन करते हैं स्टूडेंट फ्रेंडलीनेस एंड एक्सेसिबिलिटी ऑफ पेपर. जस्ट बिकॉज द नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस हैव रिड्यूस्ड डज नॉट मीन्स दैट इट वुड बी एन ईजियर पेपर. ठीक है, बिकॉज यू नो, let's say if we take the difficulty of paragraph to next level, even if it's a shorter paragraph, it might take more time than a passage of, let's say, 700 words. ठीक है, तो डिफिकल्टी इंक्रीज हो सकती है, लेंथ इंक्रीज हो सकती है, कॉम्प्लेक्सिटी इंक्रीज हो सकती है क्वेश्चंस की. देयर माइट बी क्वेश्चंस वेयर दे आस्क यू हाउ मेनी पॉइंट्स आउट ऑफ दिस आर करेक्ट, मोर देन 2, मोर देन 1, समथिंग लाइक दैट, वेयर देयर आर मल्टीपल चॉइस ऑप्शंस, राइट. सो मोर देन 1 करेक्ट ऑप्शंस, राइट. तो उस तरह की डिफिकल्टी को वो रेज कर सकते हैं. तो कभी भी ये मत सोचना कि स्पीड जो है आपका वो फैक्टर एलिमिनेट हो जाएगा. सो कमिंग टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, हाउ इंपॉर्टेंट द रीडिंग स्पीड इज गोइंग टू बी. So definitely, as I said, people who had a slower speed are back in the game, but they still need to work on their reading speed. I agree, जिनके पास भी जो रीडिंग स्पीड का एडवांटेज था, जो ज़्यादा नंबर ऑफ क्वेश्चंस करके थोड़ा बहुत फ्लूक्स लगा के बढ़िया मार्क्स ला रहे थे, उनको डिसएडवांटेज रहेगा. बिकॉज नाउ यू जस्ट हैव 120 क्वेश्चंस एंड प्रीटी मच एवरीवन who has a decent level of reading speed, I repeat, decent level of reading speed is definitely needed. All of them are now on a level playing field, and the fluke game and the reading speed game is out of the race. ठीक है, तो जो वो सब था वो हट गया, but you will still have an upper hand, and the reason is, even though it's 120 question in 120 minutes, which is 1 minute per question, and even if you look at current affairs के 30 questions वो eliminate हो जाएगा, तो you will have more than 1 minute for each question. But the catch would be the difficulty of the paragraph, the length of the paragraph. और जिसकी रीडिंग स्पीड अच्छी है ना, उसके लिए उसको एकदम से गो थ्रू करना वुड बी वेरी इजी, एंड दे विल बी एबल टू गिव मोर टाइम टू क्वेश्चंस, राइट. तो रीडिंग स्पीड पे काम करना बिल्कुल नहीं छोड़ना है. यू नीड टू रीड एडिटोरियल्स ऑन अ रेगुलर बेसिस. हमें अपनी प्रिपरेशन स्ट्रैटेजी में ज़्यादा चेंज नहीं करना है, बट हमें अपना क्वेश्चन अटेम्प्टिंग, सेक्शनल अटेम्प्टिंग, मॉक अटेम्प्टिंग स्ट्रैटेजी पे डेफिनेटली वर्क करना पड़ेगा. I'll try to come up with a video with respect to that. I'm anyways going to have a session with my mentees. If you're somebody who is interested to get mentorship from me, you can reach out to me over Telegram and get to know about my programs. I've also released a video about it. Okay, so you can be a part of that. You can get to know about a lot of things that we discuss on a regular basis. Now coming to the last question, what would be the thing that would be playing an important role? So I've been time and again seeing this thing in this video itself: accuracy, accuracy, accuracy. For accuracy, what's most important is कि आप अपने स्किल सेट्स पे, आपकी कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी पे बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस करो. बिकॉज लेट्स से 120 क्वेश्चन है जिसमें से करंट अफेयर बहुत जल्दी हो जाएंगे आपके 30, लेट्स से आई एम अज्यूमिंग 24-25 क्वेश्चन देयर. तो आपको स्टिल उसके बाद भी जो 95 क्वेश्चंस कर रहे हैं उसके लिए आपके पास 110 मिनट्स है, विच इज मोर देन 1 minute for each question. So you might land in a situation where you have 5-10 minutes left with you, but the questions that you have in front of you are the ones you don't have a conceptual clarity about, or you have very little clarity about. तो इसलिए अब बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया है कि आप किसी भी टॉपिक की कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी को छोड़ के पेपर देने मत जाओ, क्योंकि अगर आप 5-7 क्वेश्चन छोड़ते हो तो यू माइट very well get out of the race in that situation. तो you should prepare about each and every topic, because आपको नहीं पता है वहाँ पे किस तरह का टॉपिक आपके पास आने वाला है. ठीक है, तो हमें इस सिचुएशन को बिल्कुल नहीं फेस करना है कि हमारे पास लास्ट में 5-10 मिनट बचे हैं, बट जो सामने हमारे टॉपिक है, लेट्स से क्वांट का टॉपिक है, राइट. तो अगेन फॉर दोज पीपल हु यूज्ड टू लीव क्वांटिटेटिव एप्टीट्यूड्स एंटायरली, अब शायद नहीं कर पाओगे, क्योंकि अगर 10-15 क्वेश्चन आप छोड़ दे रहे हो तो बहुत ज़्यादा आपका इंपॉर्टेंट रहेगा वो डिटरमाइनिंग फैक्टर कि आप वो 10-12 क्वेश्चन को नहीं छोड़ो. तो क्वेश्चन ना छोड़ने के लिए कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी अबाउट ईच एंड एवरी टॉपिक इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड सेकंड थिंग, accuracy is very important. You're not going to take a lot of flukes. You're not going to take, random guesses at questions. So it's very important that you give time to each and every question. So one thing that people who used to have a very good reading speed need to keep in mind, now that you have more time with you, you don't need to rush. You need to increase your response time to each and every question. अगर आप पहले किसी क्वेश्चन को 20 सेकंड में करके आगे भागते हो तो आप 40 सेकंड दे दो जब तुम्हारे पास टाइम है. मे बी यू विल बी able to come up at the better answer that's expected from you, and you will not attempt that question wrong. तो अब ज़्यादा टाइम है तो उसको आदत डालनी पड़ेगी ज़्यादा टाइम देने की. ठीक है, तो ये सब चीज़ें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. मूविंग अहेड, यू नीड टू हैव एन एक्यूरेसी ऑफ 80% एटलीस्ट. 80 से नीचे एक्यूरेसी को मत रखो. Be someone who chases accuracy. I used to say previously कि accuracy और speed दोनों matter करती हैं, and they used to matter for a question paper that was lengthy. But now for this paper, I'm sure accuracy is 80% and speed is 20%. That is the balance between both of them right now, in my personal opinion. So that is, I guess, all for this video. In case you guys have any questions, you can comment them down. Again, if you're interested to be a part of my mentorship, you can ping me over Telegram. My ID would be in the bio, so you can reach out to me over Telegram and get to know about my mentorship programs. And I guess that is all for this video. I'll try to come up with more and more videos about the CLAT 2024 exam. I'll try to provide as many resources I can from my side. So that is all for this video. I'll see you again very soon with a new video. If you want to boost your CLAT and ALET preparation, then you can join my mentorship group, where you'll get a number of things like a personal strategy group, you'll get session with toppers, doubt solving groups, personal schedule review, in-depth mock analysis with improvement plan, you'll get monthly anonymous feedback, vocabulary questions, mock analysis sheet, proctoring session, current affair polls, newspaper clips, and a number of other things. You can join all of this just for 3499 rupees for the entire CLAT and ALET 2024 preparation. To know more about this, you can DM me on this username on Telegram and I'll send you the details.